Hey, how's it going guys? I'm Ryuz and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. This week we are doing Jinkougyou. I actually experimented with a bunch of builds for him, including using Satori and MOBA, but those builds, while having a very solid control, it doesn't really do much damage. So in this build I made a few changes, mainly to counter aggro, and it has a 50-50 win rate against poison, as long as you don't drag the game for too long. Because the longer the game goes, the worse it is for us, especially against poison. So without further ado, let's jump into the deck rundown, shall we? With this deck, we are actually pretty flexible. We can either aim to slowly scrape their health with Jinkougyou Edge while also dealing AoE with Suzuhime, or we can go the heal route by letting the opponent hit us first, then recover health using Suzuhime's field while waiting for Vampira to evolve. This way she can gain attack every turn, that way she can be our emergency removal when the opponent puts out a big stats Shikigami. Taishakten here acts as our utility guy. He's here to remove troublesome Shikigami with his spells. And now for his fields. This one, it's up to your preference. Some people like to bring the attack reduce spell instead, but I like the field because it does much more things, especially when there is a lot of Shigami that can throw projectile nowadays. This will completely shut them down. So here's the card priority list. I think the best thing about this deck that it's really flexible. So as long as your starting hand is not full of level 3 cards, you can still do decent damage. For the high priority, you definitely want Suzuhime and Jinkougyou's level 1 form, because those cards are your main damage dealing option. If you don't get either of those, Suzuhime's field is the one that you always want to have, and Vampira's Blood Rage is really useful to snipe any Shigami early on, while also powering her up. For the situational choice, we have 10 Good Deeds as our instant kill card, and Holy Nation, as I said before, it is up to your preference. If you think Do Good Deeds is better, you can bring that, but I bring Holy Nation because I encountered a lot of deck that can throw projectiles, and this will pretty much stop them from doing anything. Bodhicitta is actually a really fun card to use. You debuff the useless card and discard the powerful one. You just have to be careful not to mix up the choice, because I still do it quite often. And Renaissance is a good combo with Vampira's Evolve, and your opponent doesn't really expect you to bring any trigger cards, so it will be a surprise 80% of the time. And as for finisher, we actually don't have any other than Bloodstrike to clear the way, because with this deck we actually deal damage almost every turn, and by the time we reach level 3, the opponent should be low on health, and Bloodstrike will just help you clear the way. And yeah, that's all for the deck rundown. I've tried many builds, but I like this one the best personally. And it's really cheap because you only need 2 SSR. And then you can even take out the SSR and bring Do Good Deeds if you want to make it a more budget-friendly deck. But for now, let's move on with the replay. Our first matchup is up against Poison. Now, as I said in previous video, the best way to deal with Poison is to let them hit you and not your Shigami. But for this deck, that strategy is not ideal because we want to keep reviving Suzuhime so that we can deal AoE damage. For this kind of matchup, you definitely want a projectile heavy hand like the one we have now. We get the first turn, so we just put Suzuhime as a blocker and pass. Their typical first move usually either using Okiku's level 1 form or just assault with Sasori. But this time they focus on poisoning all of our Shigami with Shadow Stealth and Memory of Ushi. After that, they will assault with Kainin to kill our Suzuhime. That's actually what we want because we do not want to keep a poisoned Shigami around. On our turn, we have to kill our Jinkougyou so that we can put a form on him when he revives. We don't want to activate the field just yet because we haven't leveled up Vampira and we haven't taken any damage yet. On their turn, they put both forms on Mushishi and Okikumishi and pass. Once we reach level 2, we have to kill Okikumishi because that form is more dangerous than Mushishi. On our turn, we're just going to attack with Vampira and pass. We don't want to use the field just yet because they might counter and hit us. On their turn, Okiku's projectile hits Vampira. That is perfect because I don't mind if they kill her now. They will evolve Okiku, then kill our Vampira with Sasori and pass. On our turn, we level up Taishakutan, put Holy Child on him, and then we snipe Okiku and Kainin. With that, we are now safe because their main poison dealer is now dead. On their turn, they activate Journey of Mushi, getting 2 cards, then use Pincer Strike to shelter a card and deal damage to us. See, as long as we don't have a Poison Shigami, their damage is really low. On our turn, we put Will Searching, then snipe their Mushishi with Soul Binder. This will let us edge 2 cards, and Jinkougyou passive will kill their Sasori. He did get poisoned, but we still have 1 more turn until they can mess around. On that turn, they will pass because they don't have anything to revive. On our turn, we will finally evolve Suzume and hit them for 5 damage, etching another card and pass. On their turn, they will activate Poisonous Spit, poisoning our Suzuhime, then kill her with Kainin. That is not a bad move. That's not bad at all. On our turn, I did a slight misplay. I should have leveled up Suzuhime because she would deal 3 damage AoE at level 3, but that's okay. We activate Blood Rage to clear the way and heal back to full health, then hit them with another 5 damage. On their turn, they activate Sasori's Field, killing our Jinkougyou, then just assault our Suzuhime and pass. She did get poisoned, but that's okay. On our turn, that field is very annoying, so we have to use our Blood Strike, then assault with Suzuhime to get rid of it and pass. As long as we can control them like this, the match will be very easy for us. On their turn, they will evolve and snipe our Suzuhime and just attack direct. See, very low damage. They can't even destroy our field. On our turn, Suzuhime will revive and we just ram her to Mushishi to kill her and pass, leaving 1 orb for trigger because we did see Kainin level 3 form and they will for sure use it next turn. On their turn, as we predicted, they did use the form, but for some reason they didn't use Shadow Stealth to snipe our Suzuhime. So when they attack, they will have to eat another AoE damage and that will kill their Kainin, so they will pass. On our turn, their Okiku will reach a level 3 soon, so as a precaution, I will use Holy Nation just in case they have her SSL. Then we hit them again with Suzuhime, and I activate Bestowal just to get a free draw and pass. On their turn, they will assault with Sasori that activates Okiku's passive, but because we have Holy Nation, it didn't deal any damage. After that, they will evolve Sasori. They should have evolved first to see what they can use, to be honest. On our turn, our Suzuhime will revive again, wiping all of their Shigami. We hit them with another 5 to the face, and just for the heck of it, we activate another Suzuhime field and pass. And on their turn, they will just pass. They have completely given up at this point. So on our turn, we are just going to spit on their face by activating another Soul Binder to trigger the passive. And then we finish them off with Vampira. Our second matchup is up against Susanoo Piercing deck. They fixed the problem with the last Susanoo deck we fought in the previous video. They switched out Momo for Sakura to reduce the orb usage. As for our hand, this is actually a pretty decent one, so I don't think we need to change anything. With this deck, even with mediocre hand like this, you can still maneuver just fine. We get the first turn again, and most of the time your first level up will be Suzuhime, so we put her on a combat zone and pass. On the turn they will just attack with Yamamoto and pass. This is very typical first turn move for every aggro deck, especially Yamamoto. Well, on our turn we're just going to do the same. We're going to let them hit us. On their turn they will put a heal form on Sakura, then Heavenly Might our Suzume. She did turn into Thunder Tome and they will pass. On our turn we want to lower Susanoo's health, so we use Jinkougyou to attack and pass. At the end of the turn, Suzume actually returned to her Shikigami form instead of the fire form. That's interesting, I will remember that. On their turn, they will evolve Koi, buffing Sakura, then they will actually use Susanoo to kill our Jinkougyou. That means they don't have any of his cards for now, or he's going to rely on Yamamoto to be the main damage dealer. On our turn, we're just going to evolve Susanoo and hit them for 5 damage. Gotta hit them while we can because Yamamoto Piercing is going to hurt. On their turn, they will put Koi's level 1 form, buffing Sakura cards again. Then use Yamamoto to kill our Suzume and pass. On our turn, we will activate our Suzume field, reviving her. Then we activate Blade Dance to snipe their Koi. We don't want them to buff any more cards. On their turn, they will activate Susanoo's field, then assault, killing our Suzume, turning her into Thunder Tome again. That's actually a pretty smart play, but Susanoo's field, now that I think of it, it's pretty terrible. While on our turn, we can just kill their Susanoo with our powered up Vampira, then put Bloodlust on her to restore her health. We did activate Bestowal to get a draw. I was hoping for Holy Nation, but another Blood Strike is pretty good. On their turn, they put Yamamoto's level 2 form to smash our Vampira, but they did take quite the damage from that attack. On our turn, we're going to set a trap for them. We activate our last Blade Dance on their Sakura and pass, leaving 1 off for trigger. On their turn, Koi revives and they will evolve her once more, buffing another Sakura's card. And this was my mistake because I forgot they have a bunch of her cards in their hand, and they wipe pretty much all of our Shigami except Taishakutan. Well, on our turn we activate our last bestowal on Sakura again. We did draw Holy Nation, so we're going to bluff them by putting Holy Child and Holy Nation and pass. On the turn, they activate Tenacity, then assault with Yamamoto, completely destroying our field and dealing 16 damage in 1 turn. That freaking hurts. But on our turn, we're going to gamble. We are going to pass. I'm hoping they don't have another Yamamoto's combat card because we could die. And on their turn, they activate Koi's field, buffing Sakura again, and instead of pushing for damage with Yamamoto, they activate Sakura's random damage spell. Wow, they are so really playing with us. They are playing with their food, and they are going to regret it. On our turn, we activate Burning Incense to see what they have, and both of them are Sakura's card. I don't want to use Bodhicitta, so we just put Jinkougyou as a blocker. As long as we can survive 1 more turn, we can win this. On their turn, they put Susanoo's level 2 form just to kill our Jinkougyou and pass. They really should have pushed damage with Yamamoto. They could have won 2 more turns. They could have won in 2 turns. So we finally reached this point. We will evolve you. We will evolve Vampira, then activate Blood Rage on Susanoo, healing 8 points. Then we activate Blood Strike, healing another 12 points. That way we are back to full health. And we have an 18-14 stats blocker. They cannot possibly get over this. But they still haven't given up, and they will put Koi's SSR form, they buff Susanoo's card, and because they didn't want to lose their precious attacker, they use Sakura's spell to AoE heal and revive their Susanoo and pass. That was a good effort, but sadly for them, we have another blood strike, so we use it and assault one more time with Vampira to end the game. Well, that's all for today's video. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, if you want to support my channel, I have Patreon and Ko-Fi links down below. And as usual, if you have any kind of feedback, leave it down in the comments and see you on the next video. Bye.